Hello everyone, it's Jay, and today is the first official day of autumn. So it's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's not even October, but it's definitely gonna be October till I post this. So happy Halloween, everyone. Today I have something different for you, and that is that is kind of stories from my life and um some of other people in my life who have lived through like these supernatural stories without without there being any proof or chance that there are actually supernatural. But I think they're so fun. I love to listen to like supernatural stories. I read books about them, watch TV shows. I love horror movies so much. And now I've been kind of in love with like Logie Lane videos. So yeah, I just want to be Logie Lane. Maybe I don't, because I don't know if I could actually deal with such supernatural stories as her. I don't think I could handle it, but I think these are fun. So yeah. And today I have a great mug of the day that is very on theme with like Halloweeny spooky, and that is this little guy, and it's a ghost with a little pumpkin on side, or like jack-o'-lantern, and it's so cute. And I've always wanted a mug like this, but this is the first time that I've seen any like this in my country, so I'm in love. And today I'm having matcha tea. So the first supernatural story is not mine, but my great grandpa's, and he is not alive anymore. Bless him. And it's just basically I've seen this grandpa like almost every day of my life, basically. So it's like really odd, even after years later now, that he's not actually here anymore. It's so odd, but it's kind of cool remembering this story he was telling me. So I'm gonna tell you. So, uh, basically, he had a brother, or like very many siblings, but he outlived them all. But when his one of his brothers died, um, he went to his brother's funeral in the church, and basically after the funeral he was the only one who stayed there the longest, because he was the closest to him out of those people, because he was his brother. And he was alone in the church, and suddenly he felt a hand on his shoulder, and he looked around, no one was there, but he was convinced that it was his brother. He said he felt his brother's hand on him, and basically, um, sorry, was telling he was convinced that he just knew that was his brother telling him his last goodbyes. So another story is actually from my mother, and and the rest of the stories is gonna be mine, or me and someone going through that. So my mother kept her diary as a kid, and they were living in a big house. And later on, when she was a teenager, she moved with her dad in a flat. And when they're moving stuff, she found her old diary. As you do, find your old stuff and everything when you're moving. I've been through that, so I know what I'm talking about. And she found her old diary, and as a kid, uh, she wrote into that and said that she had a dream that felt very real, and it was basically her dream was about the two of them moving in a flat in a ninth floor. And where did they move? To a flat in a ninth floor. So that's That's pretty cool. And I can kind of relate those dreams one. I don't think I would have like actually dream that like would predict the future, but I'm really fascinated by dreams. And I had a lot of lucid dreaming in my life. And basically I find this just so interesting because yeah, I've had lucid dreams since I was a kid. That like the whole sleep paralysis is fascinating. And just I don't know, the whole theme of sleep and dreams, because we know so little about them, especially the dreams. And yeah, that would be a whole video by itself, but I would have to make a lot of research and stuff. And also I kind of wanted to get into that more, but like I'm literally dealing with insomnia, so my only goal that I'm trying to focus now on is just to sleep. Oh yeah, so number three is my own story this time. And I don't know if you guys in like primary school went to those school trips that would be for like a couple days. Yes, it's basically couple day trip with your class and teacher and so on. And it was pretty weird by itself, cause yeah, there was the main building and there were cabins around. Those were all accommodation that they had to offer, and we were supposed to stay in the main building. It was like more kind of modern, but uh, at the last chance they moved us from the main building to the cabins. It was basically in the woods. It was basically in the middle of the woods. The main building was a little closer to the actual like road and like civilization, but these cabins were like behind and around the main building, and they were in the middle of the forest. And yeah, so I had the cabins were separated to two rooms and bathroom in the middle. And so I well so I stayed in the room with three other like girls of my classmates. And basically there were like two windows in this room, both literally you staring at the trees. And uh we all kind of talked about how we had like this weird feeling there. And yeah, that was about it for a while. And then one night, or like it was not night yet, it was just darker outside, but it wasn't complete night because I just realized we wouldn't see outside. But we were just talking, chatting, and I was staring out of one of those windows in the woods, and I saw a figure behind a tree. And the figure was tall, like dark in sort of like cape kind of thing. And uh, he looked like, uh, or it felt like to me that it looked like he was getting closer and closer, and he was moving behind the trees, and he was always kind of staring from behind the tree, or that's what I thought I saw. And I thought, wow, that is weird, but like I am. Why would I say anything about that? Like I'm probably imagining this, but it seemed so vivid, and I remember this until now, so it must have been really vivid. Then suddenly one of my classmates, that was my roomie, uh, said that she sees a dark figure in the woods, and she described that. And it fit it fit everything that I have seen. And then the other classmate was like, yeah, I've seen it the whole time, I just didn't want to say anything because it seems stupid. And we were all like, fuck, this is we saying the same thing. So we just closed the blinds from the window, and we were basically really scared from that all of that. And yeah, I came back like uh years later to this specific place, and I saw nothing weird, but I still got definitely weird vibes from that, but that's about it. But also, like, that was my one of my first days of high school. So of course I had weird vibes. I was terrified of everyone. So that might it might just be that, okay? But I'm just telling you what I saw and what my classmates saw that day. Story number 4 is really funny to me. And it was basically me and my cousin in like the village that her dad and yeah lived in, and there was this like willow, and we absolutely loved that tree, and we used to sit on it, and just talk about shit there. And there was like this road, the main road from of the village. We were just staring at it from the willow, and one day, I kid you not, the cars were disappearing. That sounds so fucking stupid, yeah. Um, but yeah, we were just watching the road, and we always saw like car pass by, and then it felt like if you blink once, the car isn't there anymore. And no, we were not drinking that night. We were not doing anything like that. We were just chatting, and we both saw this, or like didn't see the cars anymore when they disappeared. So that was that was really weird, but it sounds so funny. But I have no idea. Was it supernatural? Probably not. But can I still not put my finger on it? Yeah, absolutely not. No idea what the fuck was happening that day. So story number 5 comes from the village and the house that I grew up in. I grew up in a tiny village that was also basically surrounded by the woods, and me and my sister at some point got convinced that there is a ghost in the house, and my sister called him Charles. I have no idea why fuck Charles, but we needed to name this ghost. Why did we think there was a ghost in the house? Because randomly, out of nothing, really weird things started happening. We were like losing stuff. It was like we found it somewhere else like long later. And I would say if it were just me, I would think, yeah, this is just my dumbass, because I always forget things in different places, and I'm fucking convinced that I left it somewhere else. So I would not believe it if it were just me, but it was literally everyone in the house. Everyone was losing shit, and it was always replaced somewhere else. Like we had this like main corridor in the house, and there was this shelf, and the shelf had some of mother, some of sisters like hair products on it, and some makeup, I think, like bunch of different things. And they basically we were all just in the living room, which was the next room behind the door of the corridor. And we all heard some noise. I think it was actually just me and my sister in the house back then, and we were like, why are we hearing a noise from the freaking like corridor? What the hell? And we thought someone arrived from our family or something, but nope, nothing. No one was there. And we just looked there, nothing was happening, but we just heard a weird sound. So like, yeah, these old houses, like every horror movie. Ah, yeah, these old houses. Yeah. And then we closed the door again, stay in the living room, and suddenly we heard this like really freaking loud noise from the corridor. We found all these hair products and everything thrown around the whole place, and it wasn't like the shelf was fine, the shelf was holding well. I think everything was pretty much far behind, so it wouldn't fall by itself. Also, like there was not even window opened, so how would that happen? And it also wasn't just that they fell underneath the shell, but they were like thrown around the whole corridor. And we do not understand this until this day. And me and my sister fucking convinced there was a ghost. There was freaking Charles with us. This was not the only one. Another really interesting one from the house that uh, I have I lived through was My hair dye. Yeah, it's always, why is it always like hair products and shit? And I had this pink hair dye. Would you believe it was pink? And we had, it was exactly, actually, there's this. Sorry, I had to continue on another phone because mine just sort of lost space. And I think I need more light on this. Why is the lighting so weird in this one? Is this better? Maybe. So, sorry, it looks a bit different. So, if I could explain you the rest, there was this corridor, there was this little room, and there was my sister's room. So it was right all doors from the corridor. And the little room, oh, we had for like, exactly things like toilet paper and hair dye. Because it's a tiny room and we needed to fit those things somewhere. So there was, I always had my hair dye in there. I had special shelf for just my hair dye and, hair stuff. And I knew that I bought this like pink hair dye a couple days ago, and I put it like right at the front of the hair colors, and it was just there, and I knew it was there. And then I was going to dye my hair, and I came into this little room, and yeah, it was not there. So I asked everyone, like, then I went through all the hair dye, nothing. The whole little room was just no hair dye in it. And I was like, that's so weird and upsetting. I need to dye my hair, obviously. And then, like, my parents, I think they said, like, yeah, like, just go there the last time. I was like, that's bullshit. I went through there like 5 times, and the little room doesn't have my pink hair dye in it. And I kid you not, I was like, okay, fine. What can I lose at this point if I look at the little room one more time? I opened the door, I kid you not, the pink hair dye was standing on the ground in the right direction facing me. And the hair dye was just like looking at me. And not to be dramatic or something, but there was this hair dye right on the ground, right behind the door, facing straight forward to me, and that's fucking weird. I don't go through weird things anymore there, but my sister definitely did for a while, because she had room right next to the corridor, and she said she was hearing, like, scratching on the windows and doors and knocking in the middle of the night. And yeah, she just felt a bunch of different things, but it's not really my story to tell. But I just wanted to incorporate this a little bit, so we had the idea that I wasn't the only crazy person in the family. Then story number 6 is basically after I'm the sister's room actually used to be both of ours, but then I moved into room in the attic. You might know this. I have mentioned this. I filmed a vlog of the attic room before I moved out. And living in the attic is very interesting, just overall. And there was also this like attic kind of corridor that led to my door. Yeah, I don't know if I filmed this in the like old room vlog, the outside the attic. I don't know, but the rest of the attic had a light there, and it was like a switch by itself if someone was walking through there and stuff. It didn't work properly. That's like a fact, but how it did not work properly was that the light would mostly not turn on until you were just standing and waving and dancing at the light, so it would actually turn on for once. And but mostly it didn't work well. But it never would turn on by itself before. And I was in my room in the attic. It was middle of the night. I was sleeping, and there was storm at night. And storms like usually don't really wake me up. I'm like used to them. But this storm was pretty close and it was very loud. So I did, for once, wake up in the middle of the night. This was at the time that I did not have insomnia, by the way. So I really used to not wake up at all at anything I heard, because the other, if I didn't have my insomnia phase of my life, I had oversleeping phase in my life. So yeah, light in the attic would turn on, and I did have a door, but it had the glass in the middle of it, so you would see if there is light or dark in the next room. And suddenly, the light turned on by itself, and I was like, "That's my grandpa. He's definitely looking for something." He would usually look for things at weird times, at like night and in the early morning, but never in the middle of the night. But I was still like, "That's my grandpa." And the light turned on, and then I heard steps, and yeah, I heard steps and the light turned on, and there was a storm in the middle of the night when I was in the attic. So I'm just saying. And basically, I had this like I was really terrified at the moment, which also is not something that happens to me very often because of storms and hearing shit. Like, but this was something about this was really scary. I'm telling you, just attic, middle of the night, storm, blah blah blah. Maybe it would scare anyone at that moment, but I usually don't get scared over these things. Uh, and somehow I was really like convinced that this was my last moment of my life. I was so convinced that I was going to die when that thing from the attic came into my room. Uh, but nothing happened. I heard sounds for a little longer, and yeah, then it just disappeared eventually, and the light turned off back again. I finally had some guts to look. There was clearly no one in the attic. Uh, yeah, so that was a bit scary. And if there are things like supernatural things happening in the parents' house, it was usually downstairs, back in the like the other side of the house, like the corridor and my sister's room. But in the attic, nothing weird was actually happening, even though like the attic probably looks the scariest, but it was actually not. Nothing weird ever happened in there apart from this one story, so I have no idea what that was about. But interesting thing I found out is a lot of people from our family, like cousins, more people were telling me they kept having nightmares about my attic and demons living in it, and yeah, so that's really all that everyone was having those creepy dreams. Maybe it was just because it was a creepy looking attic, and this thing happened maybe because of the storm, and it's absolutely possible. But yeah, I was really convinced I was going to die. Story number 7. This is about this house, this very new house. It's an old house, it's new house for us. And maybe at this point I was just convinced that there is just going to be a ghost. It's an old house, of course it has ghosts, it would have reason to have ghosts, so of course I would assume there's a ghost. And I'm gonna drink the rest, guys. It's probably cold at this point. And I even wrote down here in my notes that it was just me being scared from probably all the horror movies when family starts new life in their new house. This is what it feels like. It's probably that, honestly. But it was really odd when we moved. All the things were falling at me. And you baby, it's an old house, baby. No one lived here for like a year and a half before we moved in. So yeah, there's all things that would follow me. It was just weird. It was always me, but that might be just my bad luck. This one is kind of, you don't take this one too seriously. And um, we also had the switch on lights by themselves, and they would always turn on by themselves as well. But these are like outside, and my boyfriend said it might be actually affected from the wind and shit like that. So I don't really think about that one anymore. But it definitely did scare me at the beginning. So yeah. And then there's this really sad part that happened here, and maybe that's also why I sort of convinced myself something's wrong with the house. It's because a lot of our pets died in here. And I was just, for a while, I was just so scared that, oh, I'm gonna die. But I'm fine, it's fine. But, we had like 3 animals dying almost at the same time. And there's only one story that is actually like somewhat like spooky in the classic way, and that is story of my wallet. And fun fact, I filmed a part of this in one of my vlogs, because we were leaving to Legoland, and I packed all my stuff and I couldn't find my wallet anywhere. And I think I even mentioned, I'm sorry, different angle again. I don't think I'm literally destined to finish this video because something keeps going wrong with both of the phones. So yeah, great. And uh, yeah, so the Legoland story with the wallet, and I just basically same story as with kind of with the hair dye. I look through everywhere. I literally spilled out my backpack like this, and I do have this on the video where I literally spilled the bag and there was nothing. And I realized I had then my ID and my important shit at my boyfriend's wallet. So I was like, I'm just gonna find it later because I do have my ID and the important shit in his wallet right now. That was my only luck. And then we were leaving. It was literally at the door. I look in my backpack, and there was my wallet right on the top of everything. It was just staring at me, and it literally. What fascinates me is just it's not even my dumbass, because I spelled the whole backpack right in front of a camera. I was looking at these videos back later on, and it's so weird. So my wallet just appeared back there. And hello, it's me again from the future, and I was just editing this video, and weird thing happened to me. Wait, I'm gonna take those off. And weird thing happened to me, and that is that I can't find the final footage. I never in my life had so many issues to actually put a video together. The phones, and now I'm losing footage. So if I do not find the footage, count this as the outro. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and till the next time. Bye.